Hi everybody, so this is the update on the potted Vandas. And first comes first, voila, it's spiking up again and double spikes. Previously this spiked in December, and with this active root tip also, I can safely say the plant is not experiencing any kind of drawback because of this potting. And here also no leaf losses, both Vandas in the same pot, doing fine, but it still has to bloom. And my Neophenicia falcata, there is a spike. Okay, so this is the maiden blooming. It has teased me earlier also. There is another one here which might have aborted because this was there before this. So, and it's finally trying to come out. So both these are used to a semi-hydro setup, and you know this was in my year-end video also blooming, but was in a toothbrush holder which I repurposed for orchids. That was ceramic, so it had a very nice surrounding inside that ceramic with very less to no media. It only had one piece of fern root, I think. So this is also doing fine. This was already burnt when I potted it, and it was a problematic Vanda always because this was one of the main keikis of a mother plant, which is a tessellata hybrid, and this fungal infection was there, and I didn't know it had this even because these were hanging high up in that tree earlier. So the four are doing fine, right? I've just sprayed them because there are copious amounts of ants which are coming for the happy sap. It's very sweet if you taste it. That's why it's called happy sap. It's a formation of a honey type of thing when the plant is happy and about to bloom. That sap actually safeguards the bud until it's blooming. So a lot of ant activity on a very dainty and very sensitive spike like this would jeopardize the blooming, in my experience. So that I have to say clearly, because hybrids tend to drop their leaves much faster than species if there's too much of ant work on the happy sap. Because I have seen my tessellata, which is a species, blooming with no problem, even though if it's covered with ants even. So hybridizing, these are hybridized and grown in greenhouses, so they are less susceptible to all these natural elements, because I grow them out here, and this is on my yellow rack. I also have washed the trays the previous night. That's why this does not have any water. For the video purpose, I just washed them and I left them, and whatever the water you can see is from the spraying down of ants, which I did before the video. So normally these are filled, which means the plants started having a lot more humidity. We are going through a very hot season with simultaneous rain. I actually cannot say simultaneous, occasional rain. That's how the weather in Sri Lanka at the moment. It might rain in another 5 minutes, but it gets too hot. So that is something that we have not experienced last year. It was so rainy last year. The whole year it rained, as per my, you know, as per how I remember it. So, however, the current status is they are doing good, and I'm happy that my new Phoenicia and wrinkle stylist Gigantia mix is about to bloom. By the time this video is up, I will insert the video of spike elongating at least, because I know these are very slow in their spike maturing, not like these Ascocentra miniatum crosses, right? And guys, we saw the video on the side, and if you know the correct name for this, please let me know, because we do not get the proper tags at all when these are imported from Thailand. They just say whatever that is easy for them for their trading purpose. And I already had another Vanda blooming, which you will see now. This I did not repot because of the blooming. I also want to convert it into this type of setup, and I have taken off the spike now, and it's hanging in my rack. You can see there. By the way, I'm on top of a chair. That's why I cannot get closer to that. I will, however, cover all my changes about the Hoyas and the orchids soon, but my fall update for end of January will follow after this video, right? And there are two specific people I'm calling out on the video because I need their help, right? So these are doing fine, and if I get them to bloom before I post the video and at least elongate the spike, I will show you. To recap, you need to have less roots in your Vanda to pot. That's the main reason. And the media has to be very airy or chunky, which would be airy automatically. It should have a good source of watering in the morning, and then good source of high humidity with water filled trays or with pebbles, whatever. So, and the conversion to plastic pots has to be smooth. That's my main goal. That was my main goal, right? After converting them, once they once you know that they are settled in, you can be easy on the fertilizing. But first, when it's converting, because you can expect certain root diebacks, I advise you to spray a high phosphorus fertilizer simultaneously with a high nitrogen fertilizer, which I have further explained in my previous video. Please check out this link if you need further guidance on how I potted these, right? And your plant has to be stable in the pot. Okay, also watered in the morning. If you are growing them inside, okay, and that is people in the those are the people in the countries, European countries and Americas. If you are growing under grow lights, make sure you give 12 hours of direct lighting on medium range for the Vandas, because they require a lot of sunlight to trigger blooming, and for adaptation they also need the proper fertilizing, right? Unlike falls, they need a lot of sunlight or a lighting source. So you have to be careful when it comes to watering. You guys can water every 3 to 4 days depending on how your medium dries out, right? I of course live in Sri Lanka, and we have a tropical climate, and we have high sun these days, huge amounts of heat, so the plants has to stay cool. That's why I am watering them daily and in the morning or in the afternoon, right? Let's say it was quite damp in the morning, so I would not water it again, because I do not want to introduce a root rot also, or crown rot, or any kind of, stem rot, or any kind of rotting issue. So I would water in the evening, and water without going through the crowns, okay? Because if I water in the evening, it will soon be night, right? If there's ample air movement, all this will dry out, but better to stay on the safe side. It's not easy converting this, right? I know it's not easy to find less rooted Vandas, because Vandas have copious amounts of roots, right? But trial and error will get your plant used to these surroundings. That's why these are blooming, because they were in similar type of setup earlier, where it was an easy conversion for these two. So those are the things you have to worry about. Try one and see. If you succeed in that, you have the tutorial on my previous video. You can be sure that you have easy maintenance on Vandas and their hybrids, Rhynchostylists and their hybrids, so on and so forth. So I also have seen many YouTubers have succeeded in this type of potting method, and being able to spike them and bloom them. That's why I also tried it, because as I told you, a lot of things are gonna change for me, so I need my plants to be ready for those changes in case I do not have a growth outer growth space which I can easily keep them. So however, this makes my life very easy. I know it will make your life very easy too, right? So be very careful, right? And be very good with your plants. Know your plants, right? And you'll be fine, because there are ample signs to show that the plant is doing good, like spiking, rooting, and new leaves, okay? Because this is new, so like that. And when you look in, you might not see any diebacks, right? You can lift these up and see, right? There is no dieback. That's because they have been used to this type of setting and the moss always being around them. You can also start by getting them around moss and inorganic media, and then finally you will be able to do one of these on your own too. So I'll end the video here, guys. It's a success and I'm happy with it. I hope you will try that too. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed week ahead, and ask me any question you have to. Bye bye.